Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live, downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot in this hour. Today's Major League Baseball card, a true Malinsky special tonight. We'll explain what that is coming up in about 15 minutes. Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland, on the Browns draft. Was that the owner stepping in and saying you're also going to take Shedeur Sanders? Pauly and I are both pretty convinced that it was. I mean, the video speaks for itself.
Yeah, there was a guy. So you saw the look of the face on Barry, the GM, and Stefanski. And then if you scroll back to the back and look, there's a couple guys that are just doing like the golf clap.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's not even, I don't want to clap because I know what happened. And we don't want the circus in town.
All right. So here we will concentrate on props as we're getting Game 4 tonight. Great series here between Miami and Cleveland.
Well, you had a good point earlier about how difficult this is.
The game stinks tonight.
Well, I mean, what happened in Game 3? That's supposed to happen in Game 1 or Game 2. It's a 1 seed against a 10 seed. And Cleveland was horrible defensively in the first couple games. They get whatever they want on offense. They're up 18 in Game 2. They blow it. They hang on and win. Then they come out, and Garland doesn't play. And then Atkinson says, let's clean it up defensively. I'm sick of this. And let's do a better job on the boards. What happens? It's 49-26 on the boards. And again, Cleveland gets whatever they want. They scored 124 points. They had 4 points in the first 5 minutes of the game, and they missed their first 8 shots of the third quarter. Still scored 124.
And the game did not go over.
Yeah, horrible beat. Horrible. You got nothing from Miami.
Absolutely zero. No.
And they did a better job on Hero in closing out, and he only made 1 3 and only attempted 3. So from a handy, does Miami show up? Is it Cancun? Is it heat culture? I don't know, but you got a big point spread here, up to 9. And again, they can do whatever they want offensively. Do you actually see some fight from Miami? I think you do. And I think it goes over, even though we got robbed in the last game.
Okay, so you think that it's going to be a chance here. If you like Miami, then you're also going to tell me you might want to sprinkle a little bit on the money line. You think it could be the inevitable gentleman sweep we're looking at here, where they come out and they're competitive in this game? My whole thought is, after that performance in Game 3 at home, aren't their bags packed?
Worst loss in history.
Sure. How does
Worst
this
playoff
team,
loss in history,
trying to get inside the locker room of a team, you're telling me this team is going to be coming out on fire tonight and they want to go back to Cleveland for a Game 5? I will lay alternate numbers with Cleveland in Game 5. We'll have a repeat of what happened in Game 3 is my prediction.
Okay.
If the Heat win this game tonight.
Maybe.
So
maybe. It's a tough game.
Hero killed us over the weekend. That was unacceptable across the board.
Well, most people quit in that game. I don't know what they were doing.
So, honestly, with this game stinking to me, who do you look at for props? I wrote down Max Strus over 2.5 made threes. It's some pretty decent plus money tonight.
Yeah.
He's averaging 26 minutes in the series, 7.3 attempts from downtown. He's making 50% of them. He's gone over 2.5 made threes in every game. What scares me, these numbers are all up in the postseason from the regular season numbers. So does that continue again tonight, where they go out there and they play him 30 minutes and he takes another 7, 8 threes or whatever? Because that could come back to the pack where this is more of a regular season game.
And then the weird thing is Garland doesn't play, and then now he's going to play. So how does that impact the other props too?
No. If he's definitely in tonight?
He's supposed to play, yeah.
Yeah, then I probably don't want to do Max Strus.
Yeah, he's 16.5. I'm going back with Davion Mitchell from Miami, over 12.5. I think he can get to 13 points again. And even though Allen cashed that big ticket, he's only 12.5 for his points. But it's a good game in play too. You know, it was 12-4 Miami in the first quarter. And then it's just, again, the second quarter runs and what Cleveland has done here. But Cleveland also understands how big this is to rest, sit back, and get ready for your next series, too, because it looks like the Pacers are going to win in 5 as well.
I'll give you this tweet from Evan Abrams, Action Network. So far, teams off a loss in the first round of the NBA playoffs, off a loss, are 16-6 against the spread. Over just the first round, that's currently the second best mark and best ROI in the last 20 years. So do the Heat bounce back tonight? Do they cover the game? And the other game tonight would be the Rockets, and how I thought they completely gave the game away, but Steph Curry was Superman yet again.
Yeah, they stole one. Got to win that game without Butler. And Houston just so bad offensively in Game 1 and Game 3. You know where the ball's going. You have one guy to stop, and they couldn't do it. And again, they can't score as well.
And they got absolutely crushed on the boards again. The Warriors did. So in that game, going back to the weekend, and we did this on Friday, The two guys I wanted to attack were Sengun and Adams. They both went over, both barely got there with the rebound props. Now books have completely adjusted. Adams has been great, but that number was 5.5 on Saturday. It's 6.5 tonight, juiced heavily to the over. I can't do it. Sengun double digits again, but it's like 10.5 heavily juiced over or 11.5. The problem is Steve Kerr put Post into the starting lineup. Did a good job himself. He grabbed 12 boards. So does that impact Sengun when he's going to be on the court? I want to attack with a couple of other guys because I still am convinced the Rockets will dominate the Warriors on the glass, but those two players' numbers are completely out of control at this point. So I'm looking, I want to find Jabari Smith at like 7+ at a plus price. I can't find it yet. 8+ is higher than 2-1. And maybe Terry Eason is a guy to look at as well, over 5.5 at even money. So those are the two guys I want to take a peek at tonight in terms of rebounds for the Rockets. Because if you could just bet team rebounds, who's going to win? Rockets have been crushing them. How did they not win that game?
This was the team you wanted to get when it worked out for the Warriors, even though they were in the play-in. This is the matchup you wanted. How bad and limited they are offensively. If you want to get nuts with the game leaders, Bam is plus 750 for the two games for the first game rather for most points. And he just came down while we were on the air. He was still 40-1 for threes.
Okay.
Now he's down to 28 after he cashed in the last game. And it's because from the Cleveland standpoint, if it's blowout, and a lot of guys are going to sit in the third quarter, and you have 15, this guy has 15.
Sure.
You could get a weird outcome, and then Miami guys go off from a prop standpoint.
Okay. Do we expect in the late game Jalen Green and or Fred VanVleet to have better games tonight? They shot a combined 9 of 25 from the floor on Saturday, and they were 4 of 14 from deep.
Yep.
I thought they were both really bad.
They were bad in game one, too.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So do they come back to the pack tonight? Should we be banking on these guys?
Well, it's not like the kind of the Lakers situation because they still have home court. So it's going to be also difficult to come down 3-1, but at least you got 5 and 7 at home in your back pocket. So, but I'm kind of worried that they knew they blew it. Now Butler's supposed to play. He's at least trending in that direction. You got to win that game without Butler.
You have to.
And you let it get away. So maybe Golden State puts it on them then tonight.
Well, Curry in the series, 29 points per game, 4.7 made threes on 10.3 attempts. That's 45%. 53% from the field, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. I would expect that this Rockets defense would have a bounce-back game and be able to neutralize him a little bit because it's so good and they have a guy that in theory can match up with him like an Amen Thompson plus others. But at home, I don't know if I have it in me to bet on Steph Curry to have an off night tonight. If this game happened to be in Houston, the way that game closed on Saturday, I would be all over the Rockets in this game tonight. But factor everything in. It's one more in San Francisco. The Warriors did that without Jimmy Butler. If he comes back tonight, I can't get there. I like much more stuff on the docket tomorrow and moving forward in the NBA.
Yeah, and tomorrow's one of the best days on the calendar with 8 playoff games, and it starts early too. Jonathan Davis also has a great angle. Now, again, 11 of the last 13 NHL playoff games have gone over. But what you mentioned, you bet the team you can go first period or to score first. But going back, it's on a sick run. The team that, coming off a loss, scores the first goal. So that would be Dallas tonight and also Florida.
Okay.
Or you could just bet them to score in the first period, like Davis talked about last week when he was in studio. This game tonight, I have no idea. The road team has won all 3 games. Tampa saves their season. They were great in game 3. I don't know what you do tonight. Maybe goal in the first 10. It's a way to attack it. But this has been a weird series, too, with Tampa Bay and Florida. And Florida leads 2-1.
Let me give you a couple of his props. I'm looking at it right now, vsin.com. I'll give you a couple here. I'm not going to give you all of them. I encourage you to go and read, because he's got a ton of props for tonight that he likes. I'll give you 2 from this game. One, Sam Bennett, over half a point, plus 115. The other one's Braden Point, anytime goal, plus 190.
190? God.
I know. It's like Judge to hit a home run.
Yep. And then how about the late game? The game's in Dallas. Colorado doesn't have home ice. They're a $1.70 series favorite.
No.
How about that? So the both wins, blowouts, 5-1 and 4-0. They lose 2 games in overtime. Totally dominated the last game. Dallas outplayed them. But again, Colorado has had the lead in the 2 losses with less than 10 minutes left. And here we are 2-2, and we go to Dallas tonight.
Well, Davis does. He has Nathan McKinnon tonight over 3.5 shots on goal minus 148 and over 4.5 shots on goal plus 146. You on board there?
Sounds good.
I could be on with that.
And the Kempe again cashed
with the shots on goal.
14 to the last 15 playoff games against the Oilers. He's gone over his shot on goal prop. Friday he scored and had an assist.
Yeah, I think last night I looked at it, betting it again last night. It was almost $2 to go over 2.5. At some point they're going to have to just say we're going to make it 3.5.
Yeah.
I'll do Eason over 5.5 rebounds, even money tonight too.
Okay. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of Eason. Up in the ante with a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. And if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you get another $500 bonus, potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now, vsin.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. vsin.com/GBank.
I looked at the batter versus pitcher matchups across the board today in MLB. Not a lot jumped off the page. I will say that Jose Ramirez in his career against Bailey Ober, 6-19, a home run and 2 doubles. That was about it. Jesse Winker, he's in action right now as the Mets lead the Nats 2-0. That game is about an hour deep. He's 7 of 11 lifetime against Williams. 6 singles, but he's over 2 in this game so far today, but not a ton.
Sears has been great going back against Texas.
Yeah.
And then Corbin has been good since a spider bit him.
Yep. More numbers on that. We can expand there. And the other games on the card as well. A major Malinsky special tonight as a team is returning home from a long road trip. There's only one problem. I'll tell you what that is next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Over the course of a 6-month regular season in Major League Baseball, most of these teams at some point are going to be coming back home from a very long road trip and playing a game like the next day. We call it a Malinsky special, an homage to the late, great Dave Malinsky here. For those of you who don't know, professional sports bettor who unfortunately slipped to his death at Mount Charleston out here about 45 minutes outside of Las Vegas back in 2018. And that was one thing that he always picked up on and told us about, is that, hey, it's your first night back. You have to, now you're there with your family and your kids, and it's like the travel's going to wear on you. Always something to consider with your handicap about fading the home team. We had a perfect example on Friday night. The Mariners were back off of a very long road trip where they played in Cincinnati, in Toronto, and then in Boston. They came back, and this, by the way, ended last Thursday in Boston. They won the game 4-3. They came back to play Miami on Friday night. Gilbert was going. He was like a $3 favorite. He got hurt after the third inning. That certainly helps. But the Marlins scored 8 runs, and they beat the Mariners 8-4. So for those people, and I know people reach out all the time about these Malinsky specials, I know people who were on the Marlins at night based on that. You cashed a pretty nice ticket. There is an example of that again tonight, Pauly. It's 6:40 p.m. East Coast time, first pitch. Cardinals are taking on the Reds in Cincinnati. It's Palante going for St. Louis against Nick Martinez and the Reds. Massive Malinsky special here for Cincinnati. Coming home, 9-game road trip. They played at Baltimore, at Miami, and at Colorado. They had a day off last Thursday, but that was their only day off since April 14th. Now they come back home to take on the Cardinals. Palante again going. The rub is this, and Palante and the Cardinals are a little bit of plus money here, plus 108 as you're seeing on the screen. Cardinals are 2-11 on the road.
Yep.
And Palante's got a 4.05 ERA. Not awful, but how about this? The FIP, a truer number, 5.41.
Reds have lost all 5 Martinez starts.
Oh, okay.
They got a lot going on here. I know. But you want to dance with the devil with a team that's 2-11 on the road. Absolutely. That's tough. That is a tough one.
That's, again, it should be maybe part of the handicap, but not blindly betting some of this stuff.
More on the A's? What do you think? I ran down the numbers with Sears against Texas. Can Corbin keep this up? Which, no, even though the spider bite has turned out to be a good thing. But the A's $1.10 now. They have the second best road record, what they've done. So that's incredible.
Sears has owned Garcia and Taveras. He's also 5-1 lifetime against Texas. ERA 4.10. But this year, the ERA, 3.21 overall. FIP around 4+. And as for Corbin, like he talked about, hasn't been awful. He just took on the A's, 7 hits over 5 innings, 2 earned. ERA on the year is 3.77, but are you scared about the FIP? It's 5.42. And with the A's being a better road team so far than a home team, is this something where you maybe look at A's in the first 5?
We could do that too.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah. Are you scared with this Yankee line? Boy, does this line stink. 3rd worst record in the league, Baltimore. 2nd worst starter ERA. They've lost 6 of 7. Yankees tied for most home runs. Baltimore, 2nd most home runs allowed. Like he's like $1.20 here, $1.30. And it's Warren. They're going to get outs. Baltimore's going to slow them down.
Well, so
I can't see it.
Remember, we talked about this last week when the Orioles were taking on the Nationals. We're like, how are the Orioles this big of a favorite in this game when Sugano was going? And at the time, his numbers were completely misleading. I'll tell you, they're still misleading. So this guy has one of the lowest K rates in the entire sport for a starting pitcher. Paul, he's striking out 2.89 guys per 9. That's one of the lowest numbers I've ever heard out of any pitcher in my entire life. 1.61 walks. He's allowing almost 2 home runs per 9. He's been lucky so far with the BABIP, hence the low ERA of 3.54, but the FIP is almost at 6. So, yeah, I would say maybe Yankees to win the game, but also I don't mind like Yankees team total over maybe in the spot, but now the over has been bet all day long.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit out of control at this point. But I'm with you. $1.30-ish?
Got to take it. That was, and then just got swept and how it went. Well, excuse me, lost 2 or 3, and then, but this record, yeah, I think they did get swept before what happened in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. You buy in Detroit? What I mentioned earlier,
yes,
top four in starter and bullpen ERA. Small dogs against Blanco in Houston, and I mentioned you got to go back to 84 for the home record and the best record in the American League. I'm with you. I'm buying it. Pitching's real. The 4-0 when Job goes. You know about Skubal, Flaherty, Mize. Some good numbers. I think Mize 5-0 to the under. How about that? That's another one. So everything coming up roses for Detroit.
If you were forced into betting one Major League Baseball future right now, either like to win the pennant or to win the World Series, or somebody gave you a free bet, is there a team that you would look at? I'm asking the question because I honestly think I would if somebody gave me a free bet right now and said, here you go, what do you want to do with it? You got to make it on a base. I think I'd bet the Tigers to win the American League.
Yeah. What if you get a big price on the Phillies? You trust the Phillies more or the Mets?
Kind of there with the Mets. They're doing all this again.
Most people would say Dodgers, but the price is outrageous.
Of course it is, yeah.
Plus, they get 13 guys hurt on pitchers.
Sure. And maybe they get there, but you can still find, at least I did over the weekend, the Mets 11-1 to win the World Series. Don't hate that number.
Okay.
Now, some of the stuff, it's down to 8-1. We're looking at the screen here. 8-1's untouchable for me. But you get 11 or maybe even a little bit higher than that, I think the Mets are worth a look for sure. But I'll give you this too on Blanco tonight for the Astros. He's walking more than 4.6 batters per 9 innings. A total of 9 batters walked in 4 starts so far. The total is 2.5 tonight, but the over is plus money. Guys had major control problems. And on top of that, the Tigers are one of the best teams in terms of walking in all of baseball. More than 10% of their at-bats finish with a walk. That's tied for 5th most. Mm-hmm. So maybe Blanco over 2.5 walks tonight if the troubles continue there.
Now, finally, the Yankees did the right thing, too, making Weaver the closer. What took so long? I mean, that was Williams understood it, apparently, was the quote. I would hope so. We can't get anybody out. How many bad performances do they have to have? Come on.
Isn't it funny how a closer can go from completely unhittable for like a 18-month stretch to he lost it and he's done and he's toast?
Yeah, it could be a confidence thing too, but right.
Sure.
Yep.
Tied in, along with how some guys just can't handle New York. I don't know if that's a factor or not there.
Yeah, that is. That's good. That's good. Yep. Braves, $1.15 on the run line. All the issues on the road, but in the slow start, if you sweep this series, you're back to 500. Colorado is on a worse pace and has a worse record than the White Sox did last year. They're 4-23. Feltner, who goes tonight, 0-3 with an ERA of 11 last couple starts against the Braves. and they're starting to hit. $1.15 on the run line. What am I missing? They're on pace to win less than 30 games. They're getting punished in these games.
So
this is horrible.
It's also a total of only 10 right now at Coors. So those are awful numbers for Feltner, obviously. How about the guy who's going tonight for the Braves? Edler? 5.57 ERA, 6.15 FIP, more than 2 home runs per 9. The K to walk ratio is 5.14 to 3.43. That's terrible. But can you bank on the Rockies to score some runs? I mean, this lineup and the overall roster itself, when you throw in the pitching as well, it might be worse than the White Sox from last year. So I'd like to sit here and tell you the way that he's been pitching.
How can that be, though?
Coupled with what you just said about Feltner is like, game is going to go over.
That's going to happen. Someone going to break the record again? What are they going to lose, 125 games? I mean, we laughed at this White Sox team.
Well, this is all
time bad, and then the Rockies will say, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, this might be the perfect recipe for a team to do it, though, right? Because of that stadium.
And the pitching's so bad, yeah.
Well, you tie it in.
Yeah,
the pitching's ungodly, but then Pauly, they're also what are they on the road? 1-14?
Yes, 1-14 on the road.
So they're probably going to be all-time bad on the road, coupled with playing at Coors Field. Yeah, they might win 35 games. I looked for an updated season-long win total, too. I couldn't find it.
You couldn't?
No, if you can find it at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard on X, I'd love to know what that number is.
0-6 when Freeland starts, 0-5 when Marquez starts.
Marquez might be the worst of the bunch.
Yeah. Because ERA 11 and change. Michaelis goes tomorrow. They've lost all 5 of his starts, and Peralta goes tomorrow. All 5 of his starts have gone under. There's a lot of wacky stuff with the pitchers right now.
Okay, very good.
Every Sonny Gray start has gone over, 6-0. And the Giants have won every Ray start. Got some funky stuff with the pitchers, if you're buying the Giants, too.
All right, let's follow the money here.
It took me a while to find it. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbook, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa takes big bets from pro bettors. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN Summer Special right now. Only $59 until August 1st. VSiN.com/subscribe. Everyone loves it. Get the betting splits. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Tony Rizzo on the program next, ESPN Cleveland. We have to go over this Browns draft. It's got to be the craziest quarterback room I think that I can recall. And did the owner step in and say, "You're taking Shedeur Sanders," and that's that? We'll ask him next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thanks for the feedback. Bunch of people seeing win totals out there on the Rockies. It's laughably low, as you could imagine. I'll tell you what it is in 15 minutes and how we would approach it. Here, we head out to the Progressive Guest Line. So much to talk about with Tony Rizzo, legend in that great city. ESPN Cleveland joins the program now. T-Man, what's shaking?
Guys, pleasure to be with you. I need to come to the Circa. I need to decompress after the weekend the Browns had. Think about this. On day one, they traded away from Travis Hunter, best player in the draft. Okay, they want their assets. They got a good player in Graham. On day number 2, they selected Dylan Gabriel, and the town went out of its mind. No offense to the kid, nice kid, you know. And in day 3, they took Shedeur Sanders at 144. I mean, it has been a whirlwind over here.
Okay, so did the front office, are they the ones responsible for taking Shedeur Sanders, or was this from above them, the owner coming in and saying, okay?
Mitch, it reeks of, an ownership move. But let me say this. Unlike the first round with Johnny Manziel, the 5th round is, guys, my whole take on this thing, and by the way, I like Sanders. My whole take on this thing is, in the 5th round, you got nothing to lose. If you look at Andrew Berry's 5th round picks, I don't even know if any of them are in the NFL anymore. Okay, let alone on the Browns. So they took a flyer, they traded a 6 and a 7 and moved up and took the kid. Let's see what happens. He clearly missed the boat on the offseason. And I think Dion and Shedeur got humbled this weekend. I do. I think, first of all, Dion started with, I'm only going to let my kid play for 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
Then, Shedeur has the legendary thing. He's, dude, you're the quarterback in Colorado. Okay, you want to be legendary. That's great. He didn't work out at the combine. He didn't throw. He didn't run. He didn't. And then, the whole perception is, are you bringing that into your quarterback room right now? These are billion-dollar operations. Michael Lombardi always talked about this. NFL, it's one of the biggest companies in the world, an NFL team, billions of dollars. You're bringing a guy in at the quarterback position that's got to be able to lead, that the locker room's going to respect. And clearly, teams around the league didn't feel comfortable with that.
What's the worst thing you heard about him?
Yeah. Not hard to coach, but takes a while to come around on things. And I think even Dion over a beer would admit, Shedeur, he's very strong-minded. I wouldn't say hard-headed, but, he's got to coach him. It's going to take a lot to coach him. Now, Stefanski does a really nice job with quarterbacks. Flacco's in the room. There are adults in the room. But, guys, I have to say this in defense of the kid. I think he's going to come in here and work hard. As a fifth-round pick, you have nothing to lose. And could he win this job? Hell, yes, he can. It's Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco, and Dylan Gabriel. I don't know about right out of the gate training camp. But they're going to give him a shot. At 144, I would have done the same thing.
Okay.
Who would you bet on right now to be starting week one?
Oh, I'm waited. I knew you were going to ask me that, Mitchell. It's Pickett. So Pickett was the first, and I know you guys, it's not my plan. It's the Browns. I told you guys when they went and got him, they think 15-10 as a starter, Matt Canada OC, he needs a second chance. Now, Joe is there. The advantage for Flacco is he knows the offense. All the other three got to learn Stefanski's offense. Joe flourished in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's throwing 3 touchdowns every week. So he has a leg up. I would say one of the veterans. And then 2 of the kids go to the practice squad. You could trade. You got a couple assets at the quarterback room, but you're going to need 4 guys. In Cleveland, they play 4 quarterbacks every year. Come on.
That's true. That's true. What did
Come on. What, you don't think, let me tell you this. You don't think Shedeur Sanders starting a game this year? I'll guarantee it right now. If you could bet on that, I would.
You can. I think his number is 2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5 though. No, yeah. Will he start a game? Yes, minus $2.
Okay. Yeah, will he start a game? Yeah, yep. I would take that tomorrow. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Minus $2. Let's go back to Thursday. What did you think, and what was the reaction that they traded the pick? Don't you just take Hunter there and say we're good?
We had a giant draft party at the MGM here in Cleveland, and the people were upset. Everybody asked me. I told you guys the couple days before so Hunter was a lock. Yeah. Apparently, they had this deal in place for 2 weeks. Here's what we didn't know. Here's what we didn't. Hold on, Pauly. Here's what we didn't think would happen. We didn't think Jacksonville would give up a first-round pick next year to move up to take Travis Hunter, and they did. Our whole thing was, show me the team that's going to move up and do it. And lo and behold, Jacksonville wanted to make a splash. 34-year-old rookie GM, the owner, and I'll tell you who's on the hot seat right there, Sunshine. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's got to come through now. That's a big piece for him. Yep. That's a big piece for him.
Yep, totally agree. Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch Visa, the Sports Betting Network. Tony Rizzo, our guest, ESPN Cleveland on a progressive guest line. Will you have to postpone or move your trip to Ireland, which would coincide with Game 6 of the NBA Finals? How you feeling about your Cavs?
I'll tell you, the Cavs are a monster right now. Now, let's see tonight. I think, Brian Windhorst is a friend. He grew up here in Northeast Ohio. He watched me 100 years ago when I was the sports anchor on TV. We talk all the time. Hard to sweep a team, but the Heat don't look like. Without Jimmy Butler, they don't look like it. The next series, that's going to be good. I think Pacers-Cavs is going to be a really good series.
Yes,
I don't think that's going to be a sweep.
That's a tough
that's
series.
Going to be a good one.
Yep.
It is. But I'm impressed, guys, with the way the Cavaliers, they had a little lull at the end of the regular season. All that was left was the 1 seed. Once they came out in the playoffs ready for business. And I'm very impressed. Remember, they're a young team. They're led by a true superstar, a real classy guy in Donovan Mitchell. And he's the guy that's driving that boat right now. And he's got all those young kids believing that they could beat anybody.
Yeah, the way that they play, their style, how fast they go, how many guys they can kill you from downtown.
Not only that, they can win 5 different ways.
Yeah.
They can win a game with Ty Jerome scoring 24 points.
That's true.
Yes.
They can win with Mobley. They won with Allen 2 nights ago. They can win with Mitchell, obviously. Even Garland can get hot. So they have a lot of ways to beat you. They play good defense. And that's a key in the playoffs. How about what they did with the Knicks and Pistons yesterday? Did you guys watch that game?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
It was circa 1993. What were they doing in that game? Not calling any fouls. Listen, if it gets down to that, that's the one thing that would worry me with the Cavs. I don't know their physicality. Mobley, Allen, they're such nice, good kids. They wear flannel, guys. Okay, come on. They're nice kids, okay? But when you get into the NBA playoffs, I suspect in the next round they're going to go after Mobley, who's a great player defensively, but not all that physical.
That's a great point because we've been talking about it for a week. They're not calling fouls. Nobody's going to the line, and it has been the midnight. The Celtics are livid. They're like, look what they're letting the Orlando Magic do with their WWE, and you're not calling anything here.
Yeah. Problem with the Cavs is they're so fundamentally sound that it doesn't affect them like the other teams. Yeah. They're not stanky legging for a jump shot. They're not dribble. They're moving the ball. And I'll tell you what they did Saturday, the passing, and it was incredible, guys. It was so fun to watch. Loving that team.
Sure. I might have to eat this comment. It's unfortunate for them that the Celtics are probably not going to get the Pistons. I think the Pistons would take more out of them than the Knicks might leading into the series if they would get there.
Man.
Yeah, Brunson was the difference in that series. And I know that there were people that thought, who's the kid from Detroit, the young guard? They thought maybe Kunde. There was a big debate. Who's the best player in the series? It's Brunson. It's Brunson. And he'll carry him through. I don't know. Let's see. Should be fun. But we like where the Cavs are. We really do.
All right, very good. About a minute left. We started draft with the Browns. Let's close there. You told us during the break that you had a nugget here on like celebrity chef Michael Simon. You're great friends with him, but he's piped into all these other NFL players. What did he tell you?
So the chefs know everything because everybody calls the chefs to go to their exclusive restaurants and things. Michael knows a lot of people in the NFL. So we did have a little intel. And Mitch, Pauly, I told you Thursday or Friday, there's no way the Browns are taking Shedeur at 33. Mm-hmm. They did not plan on taking him, guys. But in the end, whether you think it was the owner or whoever it was, at 144, they're like, let's go. Guys, we haven't had a quarterback here since Bernie Kosar. I mean, as desperate as they are, I don't know. They've got 4. I would draft one every year till you find him. I would draft 2 every year till you find one.
For what it's worth, I like the other skilled guys they drafted. Both running backs.
Oh, yeah,
and
great draft. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mitch. The kid from UCLA, Schlesinger, Quinshon Judkins, the running back from Tennessee, they did a nice job there. But the quarterback room, Watson's not going to play, but he's in it. He's still on the roster. You've got Flacco, you got Kenny Pickett, you got Shedeur, and then you got Dylan Gabriel.
All right,
How
champ.
about that?
Love talking to you. Enjoy the game tonight. Good luck to the Cavs.
See you soon, boys.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't want to overreact, but is next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Chicago White Sox finished the 2024 season with a regular season record of 41 and 121. The Rockies are on pace this year to win how many games? 26?
Yeah.
Thanks to all the feedback on X.
Worst start so far than the last year White Sox, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
So the feedback that we're seeing right now on X, at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard, shop around, depending on which way you want to bet it, it's between 46.5 and 48.5.
Wow.
I think I'd go under 48.5.
Yeah. That's big ask. You're right about how bad the pitching is and the road record. I mean, that's just,
it all ties in. Plus, they're playing at a park that's going to be completely unfriendly to them.
Yeah. 1-14 on the road. Good find, guys.
All right.
3-run bomb, Mets.
There you go.
6-0 in the sixth, 9.5 in play.
Time not to overreact. Here we go. We call this I don't want to overreact, but the best thing going right now, and by right now, I mean if you go back the last couple of months, I'll even throw in the first couple of days of March Madness. The way that we get the NBA and the NHL schedules stacked, playing games concurrently every single night. Tonight's 4 games, but the way they did it over the weekend, what we have in store for tomorrow night, you cannot top. The draft is not better than this. I know the ratings for the draft beat any game in the NBA Finals last year. That's fine. I get it. It's the king of all sports, right, in this country. The draft was not better than what we have every day in the NBA and the NHL at the same time. It's too good. I love the action. I love having bets and all this stuff. And
the finishes.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, on that point, if you're betting overtime, you're up 10.5 units in hockey.
First round only.
You bet overtime every game. You're up 10.5 units.
Yep. I don't want to overreact, but I agree with Tony Rizzo. Plummeting as far as he did has to be a good thing for Shedeur Sanders. Ooh. If the kid is ever going to be humbled, right, and take it like he has to.
What's the worst thing you heard?
Well,
chime in too, guys. Chime in. If
I tapped out of reading stuff. I mean, there's so...
Yeah. Some of the stuff was fake, right?
Yeah.
But the Rick Neuheisel thing about during a team meeting, job interview, essentially, he took a FaceTime call.
And then stayed on it.
Stayed on it, yeah.
Yeah. The whole time.
Yeah.
But how is this... Right? Would you rather have this than he goes third overall?
I agreed with some people. I'd rather go undrafted, though.
Well, that's fine.
And
I can see that a bit better.
Yeah. But that's... Yeah. Then the owner has to step in Cleveland. They just saw the look on their faces.
Yeah. I don't want to overreact. We can all like or dislike a team's draft, but dishing out grades the second it's over is one of the most pointless things mainstream media brings to the table. It's been every year for my entire life.
Yeah.
What's the point? This team gets an A+, this team F. You have to let this stuff breathe for a little while before you can grade anything. Yeah. It should be Captain Obvious checking in here, but people just rush out to do it, and now there's more outlets than ever. And if I see another thing into my timeline, look at this, check out our draft grades, I think I'm going to unfollow everybody who does such a thing.
People have had it with Mel Kiper, too. With just nonstop with Sanders. How can you do this? How can the league do this? What's going on? Oh, he goes to Cleveland. Therefore, I give Cleveland an A+.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I didn't have the volume up. And I watched the Reese Davis stuff more on Friday and Saturday when he wasn't on it. I don't want to overreact, but the Nuggets will get absolutely buried by the Thunder if Denver somehow squeaks out a series victory against the Clippers. Did you see how they won that game the other night? I know you did. You watch all the stuff. With no Westbrook. Again, we think that the Lakers' depth is a problem.
Well, they did the same thing.
Of
Adelman
course.
did the same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
He didn't go to the bench, and it almost backfired. I couldn't believe the Clippers were down 20 at home. In terms of dramatics and what could actually be an intriguing series, OKC Clippers might be pretty damn good. Yes.
I think OKC Denver is a sweep, or maybe 5 games. Maybe Joker's so good in one of the games that he just wins it on his own.
But you also know you're going to get obliterated when he's off the floor.
That's right.
You can't stop it.
And last but not least, I don't want to overreact. I've said this before. Steph Curry's on the all-time starting 5. As I tweeted out over the weekend, stop trying to fight it. He's all-time starting 5.
Oh. It's funny you do this and bring it up. Because over the weekend, Shaq says Joker's a top 5 center of all time. And then Rose and Barkley challenged him on it. And just going through the list and stuff.
Do you think there's 5 centers who've been better?
I don't get it. You're going to take Bill Russell over Joker? You're going to take Shaq over Joker, who couldn't play at the end of games because he couldn't make a free throw? Mm-hmm. The guy could have won 5 straight MVPs.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have? 35, 21, and 10? A 60, a 10, and 10? I mean, come on.
Modern day. So I was alive at the tail end of Kareem's career, so I'm not going to include him. And I'm not going to go back Kareem. Before that for sure.
Kareem, you go Wilt, Olajuwon.
Right. The only guy that I can make a case for over Joker, again, modern day, since I've been alive, remember this stuff, would be Akeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
It's those 2 guys. That's it. Shaq's not even in the conversation between those 2 for me.
Oh, it can't be.
No way.
They wouldn't fight him. I mean, they're fighting him on it, but it's like Shaq, you're off the list. I'm sorry. You're not even close to Joker, right, as far as I'm concerned. Do this for the 2nd week in a row. I don't want to overreact, but Memphis has a lot to think about, and Memphis has to clean house. You're paying 3 guys a ton of money. You really want to go to war and have the face of your organization be John Morant? Number one, he's hurt all the time. Number two, Pippen was great. Number three, how about the asinine comments again after? Well, it would have been 2-2 if I didn't get hurt. I had figured them out. You got outscored by 70 points in the first 2 games. It was a record. Tie it into, I'm good in the West. Remember those comments a couple years ago?
For sure.
He has more suspensions than playoff series wins in his career. Also, they didn't beat a team in the West above 500 since January.
Yeah, Paul,
Good job by the GM to say, we're not even close. He's out of his mind.
There are a lot of teams that are not even close. They think they are because they have superstars. The Bucks would be one of them. They're not even close. The Grizzlies in the West, this team's going to be good in the West. How?
Yeah, they got a lot to think about, and they might have to make a big trade. And I wouldn't ride or die with Morant either.
No.
I don't want to overreact. You must bet the St. Louis Blues plus $1.50 to win the series against Winnipeg. Here we go again with Hellebuck. Game 3, 6 goals on 25 shots, pulled. Game 4, 5 goals on 18 shots, pulled. He's allowed 4+ goals in 6 straight road playoff games. Last year in the playoffs, 1-4 with a 5.23 goals against. 4+ goals allowed in 10 of the last 13 games. I also know I can put Game 6 in my back pocket because he's so bad on the road, and St. Louis has won 14 in a row at home. So if the Jets win in 7, so be it. You must take St. Louis plus $1.50 to win this series.
How about to go 7 games right now? Because...
Well, they could beat them Wednesday, though, too.
Yeah, they could.
I mean, Hellebuck's a mess right now.
After what the Blues did to them, and shame on me for not betting them in Game 3, I think Game 4 was the biggest hockey bet I've ever made in my entire life on the Blues. And they won 5-1.
Yeah, it was easy.
I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
To your point, I hope Winnipeg wins Game 5, and I hope they do it in an impressive fashion. There is no way they're not going to St. Louis and winning that game.
No.
I will bet the Blues again.
Yep. Oh, it's 155 now. Wow, where's that, DraftKings? That's too high. They've won 14 in a row at home. They spanked them in the 2 home games. And they lost game 2 by 1 goal. That's crazy. Another one. Talking to Jonathan Davis, Kings fans, NHL fans. What Kings coach Jim Hiller did was all-time bad. I don't want to overreact, but he is killing this team right now. And he did a great job in the regular season. That challenge in Game 3 was atrocious. There's no way you win that. Edmonton's got a great power play. You handed them the game. I mean, they went to review, and they said the goal stands, and then you challenge it, you lose. And it's just a good article up on ESPN.com about these coaches have to think about it, because then you're putting the other team on the power play. Edmonton scores, they win the game. How about what he did last night? You're outplaying them for 2 periods. Why do you go conservative and then pull 5 guys back? He also did the Reddick, where he sat a couple defensemen. They ran out of gas. The game-winning goal happens. The guy's on the ice for 2.5 minutes. You outplayed them for 2 periods. Then why are you going conservative and just going like a neutral zone trap like the Devils used to do, and you got beat? The other thing, last year Edmonton was 94% on the penalty kill in the playoffs. Against LA, they were 100% in the series. LA started 7 of 14 on the power play, with the 27th ranked power play as well.
That's right.
You're the better team. Don't do anything stupid. You win the series and you outplay them. Now you woke up the beast and poked the bear.
You
now
absolutely
we're 2-2.
did. You had him dead and buried.
Dead. You got 2 goals. You've outplayed them.
And now this team with McDavid and Draisaitl, they have a pulse. Forget the series, maybe even beyond that, where these other teams were probably thinking, oh my God, we don't have to go through them, and now we might have to. Can change everything in the West.
It's 4-3, under 10 minutes left in Game 3. You give up the goal, then they get the power play, you're done. It's 3-1 in the 3rd period last night.
Yeah.
Don't change anything. You're taking it to them. Oh.
They were clearly the better team again last night.
Having said that, no lead is safe. And now it's on now. It's an all-timer. This has to go 7. Please go 7.
I just every night in those 2 sports combined at the same time. Have them both. I have YouTube TV. You can watch this show and VSiN on YouTube TV. The multi-view. Oh man, it's so good.
Gotta have it.
Yeah,
gotta have it.
Yep.
8 playoff games tomorrow.
Up next, we'll discuss today's MLB card. A pitcher going in the next hour should come crashing back to earth. We'll tell you who that is next here on VSiN.